Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Incompetent Nerds. I am your host, Tank, and this is my good co-host, Mark.
How's it going?
And we are back at you with another episode.
I love it. How you doing, Tank?
I'm good. How you doing, Mark?
Pretty well. Pretty fly.
If this is your first episode, these are how we sound all the time, so no need to be alarmed when you go back and watch other episodes. But it is a new month, new theme, and September is when all the good TV shows come back. Well, everybody has different definitions of good, but so for the first week, this week's episode, we're going to talk about what our favorite TV shows have been, if we still watch TV, if we don't watch TV, where we think TV is going, because that's sort of how we always get on our fun little tangents.
Yes.
And yeah, let's. I'll kick it off. I don't mind. When I was a kid, I was an only child, so TV is something I did do a lot, and I watched a lot of. And we had cable, so I watched a lot of network TV. And I gotta say, growing up in the late '90s, early 2000s was not bad. There was a lot of great TV that came out.
Yeah, there was a lot of great shows, especially during that time frame.
Mm-hmm. And growing up in like LA, we never really were big on like I don't know,
Entertainment.
like judging. Yeah, I mean we're big on entertainment, right? We're like basically I would watch anything when I was little. It didn't matter if it was a drama. It didn't matter if it was like a show that was supposed to be for girls or whatever. It didn't matter anything. I was like, I'm gonna watch it because I want to watch it. So I mean, I watched everything from like. I watched the original 90210 and Dawson's Creek to, remember Codename Kids Next Door on Cartoon Network? That was such a good show. Yeah. And Nickelodeon was the go-to, like the original SpongeBob, Jimmy Neutron. What else? I forgot. Drake and Josh was a good show. Did you watch more cartoons as a kid, or did you watch more live action, do you think?
I was more cartoons as a kid. I didn't really like the live action, so growing up, Saved by the Bell, the cartoons that were like aimed towards kids and teens and preteens, and that were live action, I'd never watch. So I never really cared for like Saved by the Bell, 90210, Dawson's Creek. I hated the live action ones. Mm-hmm. I really did. Anytime any live action shows came up, I just change the channel and look for another cartoon or turn off the TV and play video games or do something else.
Well, I think the reason I think I liked them is because like even the OC, it was not geared toward like a 7 or 8 year old boy, but it was like, oh, like that place, they were going to places where it's like, oh, I've been before. Oh, that's the Santa Monica Pier. I've been there. Oh, that's like this. I've been there. So it was like, you felt like, oh, like the characters are like living in the world. No, whereas cartoons for me were just like, oh, this is like fake, obviously.
And I love that because for me, cartoons was my form of escapism when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really enjoyed. I was even bullied on because I'm about to say this. I enjoyed watching Powerpuff Girls because it was by the same creator and director. I think it was the same creator. It is the same creator of Dexter and Samurai Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because Powerpuff Girls was seen as this girly show, but if you watch it, it was not. They literally walked in kicking ass. Everybody was bruised, bloodied, ripped arms and legs. It's like, okay, it's not all cutesy.
Powerpuff Girls holds up, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh, what's the other one? Ed, Edd and Eddy? That was a good one.
My God. Ed, Edd and Eddy? That was my shit.
Yeah.
When Cartoon Network used to do marathons of selective cartoons, and if they did Ed, Edd and Eddy, bro, I was loving it. I remember they did a marathon on the Powerpuff Girls, and they did a movie. Mm-hmm. It was like a TV, network movie.
Yes, network movies too. We gotta get into those.
I was sick. I remember I was sick as a fucking dog. It was summer vacay. I want to say I was like 13. I was in middle school, so I was like 12, 13 years old. and I was laying down in bed, and they only had on Cartoon was a Pop-Up Girl um, marathon.
Marathon.
So they started off with the movie and they started going on with TV shows afterwards because the movie was the prequel. It was everything that started it off. So I'm watching it. I'm like, yo, this is pretty. I like this. It's pretty good. So I just kept watching it. So every time we'll go through, like I didn't care like what show was next or what was currently on. It's like once I saw like Dex, Sam, Powerpuff, Ed, and Eddie was just the funniest. I just loved them. They were hilarious.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to have consistency too. Do you remember that? How
Yeah, it was
like during the summer, it was like every day you would see like, okay, I'm going to see this show, I'm going to see this show, and I'm going to see this show at these times.
exactly because you could. I feel like as a kid, especially like growing up in our times where, everything was either playing games with your friends or going to your friend's house, or you know, or at night just watching TV, or even in the morning, and it was like Cartoon Network knew when it was summer vacay for kids, we're gonna throw all the shitty shows in the middle of the day, where early morning and late night and evenings are gonna be the best shows. And dude, that was it. I remember Toonami.
Yes, yes.
That segment. Oh my god, that's what got me into Japanese anime. When I was
Okay,
watching,
okay.
of course, Dragon Ball Z,
Right.
Yu Yu Hakusho. What was the other one? Hironi Kenshin. Inuyasha came on for Adult Swim. Um,
When did you first watch Dragon Ball?
I was actually younger when it was on Fox Kids. Remember that one?
Right.
But I didn't know what the hell it was, and I was young at that time, so I never really
Right.
understood it until I was literally a preteen and started watching it, and I started to understand, the story and everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But Dragon Ball, I want to say officially, I would say I was like maybe around 11, 12.
Yeah. So I think my first big, I mean, Pokemon aside, I think Pokemon was always mainstream. But I think my first intro into um like Japanese is it, what do you call it, animation or
Anime,
manga?
just anime.
Okay, anime. Yeah, it was, and this was like the American version. Definitely, I'm sure if like I talked to somebody who was legit, they'd be like, "That's not anime," but was
No, even in
Yu-Gi-Oh.
even other places, that's anime. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is an anime.
Okay.
It started off, of course, as I want to say it started off as a manga, a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because of that, it birthed the card game, and because of how
Right.
popular the manga was and the card game was,
So yeah,
the
because I
anime
know that
came afterwards.
the cards came after
Hmm.
everything else, right?
Yeah, Pokemon has a weird history. Like you see, Pokemon is a straight anime. It has a
Mm-hmm.
manga and it has games. Sounds like your
Mm-hmm.
traditional thing, but it never had an anime. I mean, never had a manga. Most animes are based off mangas. Very few of them, very few mangas are based off animes or video games. So
Right.
Pokemon started as a video game. Because of its popularity, it grew into an
A
animation
whole
or anime.
culture.
It went from a game to an anime to a manga. And from what I hear, the manga with the main character is Ash is not the main character in the manga. There's a character called Red, and that motherfucker is cold blooded. Like he's cold, and that blew up over there. And you could if you go to certain like comic book stores that sell like mangas and stuff, you could possibly find a copy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a rare copy. What was it? I think it was like Pokemon something Pikachu or something like that. I forgot what it's called. Um, but there's a rare copy where the last page is dedicated to remember Jesse and James,
Mm-hmm.
them becoming a couple, and Jesse is pregnant.
Oh, that's cute.
It's just literally like a cute thing, and that is one of the rarest copies of that book.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
See, you learn all these like different things, and you're like, what? Like, people you don't think people would invest in like these characters in this culture because it's just like a show for kids, and then it's like, no,
Hell
like this
no.
this this stuff is timeless, man.
Exactly.
and that's what I think was really cool about like being a kid back then was like it didn't the theme of the show didn't matter. It just was like what are the characters, what's the story, and what's different about it. There was nothing that was like trying to be overdone.
No, I agree. What else there was? I miss Scooby Doo. I used to watch a lot of Scooby Doo, and this is the old from the fucking '70s Scooby Doo episodes on Cartoon Network. I used to
Mm-hmm.
love those. I wasn't really big on Nickelodeon as a kid.
Really, I love Nickelodeon. I mean, I think Nickelodeon was really big on the West Coast. Like, I mean, even when I was in school, it was like, did you watch this? Did you watch that? Like more so than Disney Channel, but it was just like Nickelodeon had like everything, and
Oh, I rarely watched
people
cartoons at
like
Disney.
loved to go to people's houses and watch, and it was a big deal. And
Yeah,
then
I think when I started getting
and
older with
then
Nick, that's when I started watching some of the live action. So like all that, Keenan and Kel.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even Keenan and Kel was like just the idea of or all that, and the idea of like a skit show for kids was like
Oh yeah,
it was probably hard to do in the time, but like it was great.
it was the
Like you
kid version
never.
of like remember Mad TV. It was like
Mm-hmm.
it was just your preteen version of SNL
Yeah,
and Mad TV. That's what it was.
yeah, and that's how they sold it to Nickelodeon. It was like we don't want to change anything. We just want to make it appropriate for kids. And
Yeah,
they were like, yeah, sure.
yeah. Think of it this way: it's just SNL but for kids. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And Nickelodeon
That's
was
it.
like, "All right, you guys got 2 seasons."
Yeah, it's kind of sad though how much Nickelodeon has sort of fallen from grace in the recent years of just with all the competition now. But it's like now with YouTube, it's like you don't have nobody's watching anything on Saturday morning no more or Saturday night whenever it is.
I want to say it's the evolution of television. You got streaming. Like I'll never forget. I'll never forget the day that the news. I want to say it was one of my local channels. Were saying that this is today is the first day in televised history that there is no longer kiss shows. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, interesting.
Like no more member Fox Kids, ABC Kids, or all these
Right.
cartoon channels that were on, NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, or whatever
Mm-hmm.
networks are all gone. None of them exist anymore. They're all gone. The only channel that I want to say that still provides kid cartoons or kid friendly content is PBS.
PBS, yeah, that's the move. I
Yep.
love PBS, man. That was where I first saw like Mr. Rogers.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, when I was really little, I watched the Teletubbies, not because like it was
Oh
weird,
god.
but just because it was a great. I don't know, dude. I was little. I thought it was great. It was about sharing. It had a good message. I was on board.
I didn't care for the Teletubbies. My cousin, when I was younger, my aunt used to live with us, and her daughter was real young. That little girl was into. And I used to hate it because we had cable, and this is when I started watching like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember coming home, and my cousin's right there in front of the TV watching either Teletubbies or Lunette the Clown. And my cousin had I forgot the doll's name. I think it was like Dolly or something like that from
There
Lunette the
was
Clown.
Lala, Tinky Winky,
No, I'm
Dipsy,
talking about.
Lala.
I know about the Teletubbies, but I'm talking about Lunette the Clown. They had a doll. One of her like one of the characters. I
Oh,
forgot the doll's name. I think it was like Dolly or some shit like that. But
yeah, 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 yeah.
my
Oh man, what is it?
you're gonna look it up, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna look. The
Yeah.
big comfy couch.
Yep, the big comfy couch. Shit, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing. I don't know why they named it the big comfy couch, where the main fucking person was Lunette the Clown and her little clown friends. I was really never scared of clowns. I never had that fear, even though sometimes they creep me out. But my cousin loved the fucking show, and she even had a stuffed
The
toy
doll
of the
with the
doll.
hair, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think I'm gonna surprise her one of these days for her birthday. Her birthday's coming up. I think
I
I'll
think
surprise her and get her one.
the what's it called? I went to a birthday party that was like big comfy couch themed,
No,
and everybody all got this little girl the same doll. Like they got her that doll. 'Cause that doll was like big. So
yeah.
she loved it. She was just like sitting there with like 30 dolls.
So
It
nobody had
was
communication with
hilarious.
the parents. So nobody told the
Right?
parents. Oh
And
my
then
god.
this was back before Facebook was a thing. So you couldn't make an electric Evite.
I know, right? What was another big show? Arthur. I remember watching that as a kid.
Arthur's good, man. Doug's good too. Don't let anybody tell you different. Arthur and
I
Doug
didn't.
can teach you some life lessons.
I didn't really care for Doug. Um, I really like Rocco.
I love Rocco.
Rocco, I really liked. I didn't really care for Doug. Rugrats. Oh my god, Rugrats was the shit.
Rugrats was the shit. Yeah. I remember that was the first one of the first movies I've ever saw in the theater that my mom let me see
Yes, dude.
was Rugrats.
Did it feel weird when watching a cartoon and then watching a movie and seeing like the
Right?
animation difference?
You were like, what's they're like, what's different about them? Like, what do you mean? They're the same characters. And then no, it's something
No, there's
different.
something there. It's the animation techniques. They had a bigger budget. But
Mm-hmm.
what killed me was like after watching that movie and then going back to the TV show, I was like, what?
Yeah. And then it's hard to go back.
It was.
Weird how your mind does that to us.
Yeah. But I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Have you rewatched any of these shows that we spoke about again, like in today, like your modern age?
So PBS sometimes will show like they'll show like Mr. Rogers and they'll show, some shows from the 90s. But one day on a Saturday uh they showed Arthur,
Mm-hmm.
and then they showed there's two Arthurs I'm talking about. Or Hey Arnold. That was the other
Yeah,
one.
I remember. Hey, Arnold.
I don't know how they bought it from Nickelodeon, but they had Hey Arnold and they had Arthur. And I was like, this is single-handedly the greatest day of my life. But then I was like looking on the guide. I was like, when is it on next? Is it on demand? Like, how can I watch more? And it was like one day, one shot, and that was it. And it was out, and I was so sad.
How did it feel? Because I remember I was watching. So on Netflix, they
Mm-hmm.
had the old Pokemon shows,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, damn. You know what? I remember I never watched them consistently. I'll catch whenever I could. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch them again. I
Right.
rewatched like the first few episodes, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, what the fuck? This is so cringy.
Was it hard to
It
watch?
was hard to
Yeah.
watch. A lot of these cartoons were hard to watch. Dragon Ball Z was hard to watch again. Just a lot of these older cartoons that were mostly like aimed towards kids. It
Oh
was
yeah, of course.
difficult to watch. Like every now and then, like my sister rewatched Rocco's because it's on Netflix now. Um,
Oh, okay.
she rewatched Rocco and she's watching it with her son, and she's texting me saying her words. She's texting me, "Bitch, this show is so fucking dirty." I'm
Oh yeah,
laughing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm laughing. I'm like, "Are you watching it by yourself or are you watching it with your son?" She goes, "We're watching it together, but all the adult jokes are just going over his head." I'm catching. I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck was wrong with Nickelodeon back in the day?"
Yeah, apparently they put like a lot of like really really inappropriate stuff in there
Oh yeah,
that just like I mean we never caught it, and
no.
it just like got through the gates, the floodgates.
Until you get
Like
older and
he
then you catch it, you're like, "Yo, okay,
like Rocco works for a sex operator
yeah."
technically.
He's a phone sex operator.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
And if you, I was watching like Easter eggs or hidden things that you never notice in Rocco's, and
Right,
one of the
yeah,
things
yeah,
was
me
at his
too.
desk at there's that sheet of paper that says, "Please the customer," or it was like, "Please the customer, say nice things and whatever," and you're just like, "Yo, what the hell?"
That's funny.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Yeah, I mean, I know I get that they're cringy and like there was less production value back then. We didn't value as we value different things, you know, whatever. But like, I don't know, man. There's something to be said about just like of just sitting there and watching something that you watched before and like going down memory lane.
Yeah.
So my friend from college was obsessed with Dragon Ball Z, and but you know how they made
Same with
like
us.
you know how they make like the clips or like the episodes are like very short.
Yeah, no, the episodes, the fights are short. The episodes are
Right.
just, a lot of them are just filler, not fillers. They just drag on.
Right. So the dialogue is basically a filler for the fight.
Yep.
That's the concept, right? So he would have these parties and he would put Dragon Ball Z on in the background, and you know everybody would just be doing their thing or whatever, and then the fight would come on, and people like would treat it like it was like an MMA fight, you know, like people would
Everybody
take
surround the
sides.
TV.
Yeah, people would cheer on different sides, and because like it had been so long, like everybody forgot what had happened. So it was literally like we were watching it for the first time. And so then when people would lose or win, people would cheer or like boo or whatever, and it was like it was fun to watch them again, just because it was like that was our outlet we created.
Yeah.
So that's always nice when you can like make your own outlet for like rewatching a show.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. But the whole purpose of that was since they fought really really fast, a fight,
Mm-hmm.
an actual fight between those opponent, those two whatever characters
Uh-huh.
will be done within minutes.
Oh, okay.
So they stretched it as long as possible with dialogue or stupid shit. So
Sure.
it will get annoying, especially if it wasn't marathon season on fucking Cartoon Network. Like watch Dragon Ball all the way to the Cell games, to the Cell
Mm-hmm.
Saga starting Cell Saga starting next month. This whole month is all Dragon Ball Z. Watch the beginning when Goku fights Raditz all the way till he defeats the androids, and you're just like, holy shit, this is gonna be awesome. You sit there and you watch it and you realize like, damn, I just really wasted a whole fucking month
Um,
or a whole week, and this is like it's nonstop.
yeah,
And then
that's what it
when you
definitely
think you're like,
feels like.
yeah, and then when you think like, oh, it's gonna continue on today? Nope, because it's a Saturday or a Sunday, and they have different fucking shows on. You're just like,
Stay tuned for scenes from our next episode.
But another iconic show that I can't rewatch again is Power Rangers. I tried rewatching
Dude,
it. I can't do it. I rather
because the Pink Ranger died, you're sad.
no. It's just super cringy and cheesy, and it's like I rather just keep the memories as a kid that I enjoyed it than rewatching as an adult. It's like, huh?
But see, I think that goes back to your sense of humor. Because
It
like I
does.
love cheese, and
Yeah.
I just think that stuff's hilarious.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love the hidden innuendos in kids' cartoons because now as an adult, I could be like, that's funny. My sister looks at me like, what's funny? Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and that's what I talk to a lot of people about this and like with kids, because people always say like, oh, how are kids different than like our generation, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they're really smart. You know, we have access to a lot of information, and kids get that information really young. So you know, you have to have really witty, really smart humor. You know, you can't like throw a pineapple joke at these kids and you know they'll laugh when they're 5 6 years old. You have to get some good stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem is like they have such an addiction or whatever affluence to screens
Yeah.
that they're so smart, but it's like we lose that like human connection of just like being able to sit down and watch something, just like even if you've seen it before, even if it's not funny, just because you're doing it with your buddy or you're doing it with your best friend, you know.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Going back on how kids were funny and witty, like I swear to my nephew, when he be watching some of the cartoons, he be catching shit. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the major things that gets me is My nephew's fucking witty. He's hilarious. He's funny as hell, and
Mm-hmm.
he got me one time. He straight up roasted me. I'm about to go ahead and embarrass myself, but my nephew, my sister came over to the house one day, and my nephew just had a haircut. But the way the
Uh-huh.
barber cut it, I didn't like it. So I'm messing with him
Uh-huh.
on his haircut. I'm like, look at you with your messed up haircut. He looked at me real pissed off. Like, you can tell he's mad. He looked at
Me
me dead
mugging
in
you.
my eye. Oh, man. He looked at me dead in my eye and didn't even think about it. Responded to me instantly and said, boy, don't talk about my haircut with your McDonald's symbol hairline. Da 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 da. My sister looked at him, looked at me. I looked at and looked at both, and me and my sister just died. I was like, "Look, I'm mad at you because you just roasted me so fucking well, but I'm gonna
the
use that
fact that
shit."
the fact that he had the theme song was just that's class A material right there.
Dude, I'm like, next time I see somebody with a McDonald's fucking arches hairline, I'm gonna just roast their asses. Like,
That's
bro,
hilarious.
my nephew just came up with that on the spot. Hey, you know what it is? It's my sister.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
like remember watching like Fresh Prince or any of those other shows? There was always that
Hmm.
one. There was always that witty character. That was my
That one
sister,
line, yeah.
and who would just destroy your whole life with one line. That was my sister.
Mm-hmm.
You try to roast her, she'll come right back at you.
Forget you.
Oh my god. So props to my nephew. You fucking burned me.
That was good. So, what do you watch now that we're older?
Currently, I really don't watch much TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do, I try to watch some TV shows. I try to like to see like what I get interested in. So before I used to be when I was older, more like late teen, early 20s, I was into heroes. I'm trying to remember. I was into heroes. I was still into cartoons and anime. I would still watch cartoons and anime. I'm throwing it out to the side. Um, but I remember I used to be big in heroes. I didn't really watch much of Lost because I fucking ended up lost. Especially that I didn't catch episodes consistently. Um,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, now we can go through TV shows through the era. Did you like how Lost ended?
like I said, I really never got into it because I never watched it consistently. So when I would watch it, I was literally lost. And I heard the way it ended. People wanted just to fucking burn the studios. I heard.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is it okay to spoil or is it not? What do you think?
Hold on. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
So it basically ended. I think the problem with the ending is that
They needed more polar bears.
it basically told. Yeah, right. It basically implied that like nothing was real,
Yeah.
and I think people are unhappy with like the uncertainty of that. I think that's the problem people have a problem with because the show itself was amazing from beginning to end, but people don't like the idea of loose ends or an open door kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Especially when it comes to
They
TV
want
shows that they are
right,
deeply involved in.
right, and I think it's funny how we accept cliffhangers and cliches like and open doors on movies all the time, but when it comes to a TV show, we have such a big problem with that.
I want to say that's mainly
But
due to because it is a TV show and
hmm
you're more involved into that than you are with the movie.
yeah, and I think people associate that investment with like, oh, I put all these hours into this TV show. I have to have the ending that I want, or I have to have a happy ending or a good ending or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's not even. I feel like nowadays, even in the past, it didn't have to be a happy fucking ending. They just wanted an
Hmm.
ending.
Right.
For example, the greatest fucking ending that ever happened was The Sopranos.
Love
You,
that.
everybody was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And I think it goes back to when I was shitting on Game of Thrones, the way it ended.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my mom were just, we were already tired of it by episode 4. We're like, this is bullshit. And we're like, we're gonna have to finish anyways. I'm like, the only way I'm gonna finish this shit if I drink. And it was a Sunday night. I gotta go to work the next day, and I was hammered watching the fucking show.
See, makes it better.
Oh, it kind of did. It kind of like numbed the feeling. But then I'll
But we all.
just never forget how invested my mother was into The Sopranos,
Mm-hmm.
and how, because I never watched it. I only caught episodes here and there with my mom, but how invested she was and the way it ended, I'll never forget her yelling. She actually called me over when the blank screen came. I'm thinking the cable box fucked up. So as I went to
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and try to fix it, the text row came in. Then she's calling everybody.
Mm-hmm.
She's calling all her friends and everybody who was watching it. Yo, what happened? What happened to him? Blah blah blah. Like, dude, I got a black screen. Like, wait, you got a black screen too? Everybody had black screens. To find out it was intentional. My mom lost her
Yep.
fucking mind. I never seen my mother so mad at a TV show.
Right.
But here she is today, still freaking investing herself in TV shows left and right because she's
But she.
insomniac.
Right. We all get involved, no matter what. Like we can't help it. So I think that's why that we need those endings because you need to get mad at it sometimes.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. I don't like when TV shows just end with a just an open ending and you're just like, you choose what happened to him, or you come up with a happy ending or a sad ending. Okay, he fucking got shit lit the fuck up. Is that how they really ended? No, but that's how they ended in my book.
Really? Yeah, over onion rings? I don't think so.
Yep. But I remember I used to watch Heroes, and I'll never forget. I really enjoyed the first season. But then
Did you like the hero's ending?
this is old Heroes, not the one that tried to come back. Didn't really like it because it left it open, and then never happened. Nothing ever happened after that. So I was like, this is bullshit. And one
So
thing,
you, so you would have been okay if they did like a reunion episode or a follow up.
no, I'm done with that show. Because they try to bring it back. Don't get me wrong, they tried to bring it back, and it failed horribly.
Yeah.
So, and that was because of the whole superhero craze. And this is, pre-superhero craze
Right.
with Heroes. And I really did enjoy the show when I was younger. I liked the
Yeah.
first episode, the first season. It pulled me in. The second season was fucking. Was the second, or I think it was the second or third season that was struck horrible because of the Writers Guild strike.
Oh yeah.
I think it went
Friday
from.
Night Lights was that way too. I was very sad.
Yep. What was? I think it had 20 episodes planned, but because of the strike, it only had 13.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait.
Yeah, but then they picked it up the next year, and they
I want to say that
and
it started to fall
they
after that.
right, but they've gone forward in the story anyway with the 20 episodes they were supposed to have written.
Yeah.
You just didn't get to see them.
Heroes. Oh, remember the Cape?
Yeah.
I remember I used to watch that too, and that was because I was into Heroes. I started watching now. I'm like, okay, this is pretty decent, and it was canceled because of viewership. I was kind of angry. Another show I used to watch in my college days that I really liked, and this is the first time I ever like got into reality shows. The Colony on Discovery Channel. You ever heard of that one?
I love The Colony, dude.
I remember watching that. I remember hearing about it. I remember reading.
Did you
Go ahead.
did you think it was real? Is it real? I have no idea.
Supposedly it's a real experiment that they have these people. They're not actors.
Okay.
That they're actual fucking people who they say they are. And
So it's kind of like reality TV,
Yeah.
kind of.
and they put them in they basically put them in a certain area that they'll trap them in for an experimental purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So like seeing them slow, like you see how slowly they lose the weight because they're malnourished. How the fights break out because they're not focused enough. They're not either getting enough sleep or getting enough to
Dude,
eat.
such a good show. Such a good show.
I really, really, really enjoyed The Colony. Supposedly it's not canceled. there's still a third season, and they're waiting for the right time to bring out the third season.
Interesting.
But I remember watching the first two seasons. The first, I remember this is when Hulu just became big, and you were able to watch free TV shows with ads on Hulu. So I used to watch The Colony on there. I watched the first season on there, and then I watched the second seasons on some other shady website because I couldn't find no other place to watch it at the time.
Sure. Thank you for not putting the website out there. I appreciate that.
Here's the funny thing. I don't even know what the fuck the website was. But it definitely wasn't YouTube. Remember how YouTube used to have, when people used to watch like TV shows, and it was like, oh, watch part 1 through 7 of this show, and it's like you're watching part 1, and then the recommended. Remember when it was like the recommended tab? Then, it'll show part 2. Right, but then it'll show part 2, 4, 5, 6. Really part 5. No, it'll be like you're watching part 1, and it shows you the next 5 episodes to watch, the 5 videos to watch, and it's like, okay, I'm watching part 1. You got part 2, you got part 4, you got 5, 6, and 7. Wait, where the fuck is part 3? You're like, yo, what the hell? That was
probably how they got rid of the copyright.
Yep.
It was like, oh, well, we have 15 minutes that's not in the show, so we're good.
You had to go crazy and look for it, and then you finally find part 3. But, what's another one?
And it's in Spanish.
Oh, yeah, I used to hate that shit. Nowadays, I want to say currently, I was into Game of Thrones, of course, as everybody else was. Breaking Bad.
Sure. Big AMC HBO household, and it sounded like.
When I started watching The Walking Dead, that was due to, I started watching I read the comic book, and that was due to it was from my friend. He lent me the comic book, that it was a compendium. It was like the first several fucking 100 issues, I think it was.
Right.
I started reading that, and I was loving it. Then to find out that they're coming out with the TV show, I was like, this is fucking perfect. I'm like, I'm just reading this book and I'm loving it, and they're coming out with a TV show. I started watching the TV show. And I stopped watching it, and I started watching it when they started bringing it to Netflix. Because I didn't have cable at that time, and I was in and out of watching it on AMC. So I started watching it on Netflix, and then I stopped. Because to me, it got boring after, I want to say season 3,
you're not the only person that's told me that. Like, I had a lot of people that were like, I really liked it in the beginning, and then it just sort of... I think it got too much. I think they tried to turn a TV show into like a culture. Yeah. I don't think it was ready for that yet. Because I mean, now they have like the Talking Dead and like all these spin-offs, and it's like, I know zombies are really big right now, but you can't overdo something simple too much.
I even tried to get into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when I was younger. When it first came out, I didn't really care for it, and plus it was weird to see it different.
Is that Netflix exclusive?
No. Well, it's...
Or it was on Netflix. ABC, right? It was on ABC, though, right?
And that's because Disney owned ABC.
Right.
But I didn't really care for that. After like the first season, I'm like, yeah, this is getting lame. What's another show? Supernatural. Remember that?
Oh, such a good show, dude.
Oh my god.
Such a good show.
It needs to die.
I remember. Yeah. What do you mean? Like in terms of the culture, or just like?
No, the show should have died like 5 seasons ago. Because I felt like they kept coming out like after like, okay, I felt like after some time, this show has to be done. It's ended. It's good. Like, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, but you know what I think? You know what? I had this thought the other day about the show itself. I think Supernatural is our generation's version of like a Law and Order.
Because X-Files, our generation's version of X-Files.
Right. You know how old people can just watch like Law and Order or CSI or whatever, or any 30 or 60-minute crime show, and it's like everything's going to get solved the same way, and it's like there's we got the wrong guy part. It's very scripted, right?
Yeah.
But people love it because it's the same, and it's like easy to digest, and it's different. I think Supernatural is sort of our generation's version of that. because even it's different every time, but it's always like, yeah, I know they're gonna get out of this, or I know they're gonna figure it out. It's like I can put this on in the background and do laundry. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, I remember I used to put that show on when I would clean my room. When I would get like
See,
into hardcore cleaning, dusting, cleaning,
right?
all that stuff in my room, I'll just have that show playing, and it's funny because yeah, the only time I will actually stop doing what I was doing to watch it is when the action sequences came up, and then other
Yeah,
than that,
yeah.
once it was dialogue and shit, I just start going back to cleaning and shit.
I do wish I could. I don't want that show. I mean, I do want that show to like wrap itself up, but I also don't want that show to like lose its meaning.
Yeah, and I think it is. They're gonna wrap it up. What you call it? I think they are gonna write like one more season, and then that's it. They're done.
2005. Holy crap! 14 years.
Yep. And I think
I
it's
don't
like
care
what.
who you are as an actor. That's a great gig.
Mm-hmm. And I think what for 14 years it's been around. Well, it's been on for 14 years, but isn't there like officially like 13 episodes or 13 episodes, 13
There's 15
seasons,
seasons.
15
There's
fucking
15 seasons.
seasons. There you go.
Yeah.
Holy shit! So they were on fucking point. No cancellation, no coming back.
Right.
They were on point. You can't say that about Family Guy. Them motherfuckers got canceled and came back, and they got canceled again and came back.
Sam and Dean, man, locking it down.
Yeah, that's fucking job security right there. If I gotta say anything,
Right. Right.
and each year they're getting paid more and more money because them views kept coming in and them deals. Oh man, fucking supernatural. The
Yeah.
only thing I
I'm kind of
hated, the only thing I hated about that show. Sorry to cut you off, but it was the fact of every time one of the brothers either died, went somewhere else, or ended up in some other fucking plane of existence, they somehow came back, and you're just like, can one of you guys like legitly just fucking die?
It's monster hunting, bro. You never
Oh
know.
my god, dude! It was like when one of them went to hell and came back came back. Another one lost their soul and came back. Another one ended up in fucking purgatory and came back. I clawed my way back out. Blah blah blah. It's like, yo, what the hell?
But you know they're gonna make it because they're white.
True.
Oh, little race joke to spice up the evening.
Oh man.
I think that's a good start point. I have one last question for you.
Shoot.
Either present day or from your past. If you had to watch one show from beginning to end, no breaks, no nothing, what would it be?
That's a good one, dude.
It's a very long pause.
Yeah, because if I had to watch one show with no breaks from beginning to end, what show would it be?
Yeah. I mean, this is assuming, your bathroom situation was taken care of, you had food,
Yeah, of course.
beverages.
Fuck, that's a good one.
We're talking hypotheticals here.
Bro, I got a bunch of good shows.
Just give me the first one. First one that comes to mind.
First one that comes to mind. It has to be entertaining, something I won't be bored with because it's different every time. Fuck it, I'm going with Supernatural. Just because how much we talked about it, and also it's different episode every time.
Mm-hmm.
Only some, it'll continue on with the story at certain points, but other than that, it's like if I could just sit down and just watch this shit, from
That's a good show.
finish to end, yeah, it's a good show. Oh,
Right?
look at his track record.
Right?
And I want to say the numbers are going down though, because people are like, yeah, I'm getting sick and tired of this shit. That's what I want to say
Doesn't
they're
matter.
giving up. But oh my god! And plus, I love the lore. The lore is awesome.
Right. It's a great concept.
It is.
Never been done before.
What about you?
I'm gonna go with something easy. My name is Earl. I
Oh
love
my god, that fucking show.
I love how white trash it is. I love how it was sort of Jason Lee's like pinnacle. I feel like his career hasn't done much since then. But no, when I used to come home from school, I used to watch it with my grandma.
Yeah.
And I mean, even in her old decrepit age, she still could discern the characters and the jokes, and laughed along with me. So
Yeah.
I would I would love that. I would love that show.
My name is Earl.
Chuck is a really good one.
I remember I used to watch Chuck.
Yeah.
I was shocked when they chose them to play fucking Shazam. I was like, yo, they got Chuck in this bitch?
God, Chuck, man, Chuck's doing big things. He was in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Like he was Shazam. Like he's going up.
Yeah. Moving on to how about TV network movies?
TV network movies. I think no one has done TV network movies better than Disney Channel did in the '90s.
True.
And I don't know if that's my bias, but those are good. That was some good stuff.
They came out with a lot of. It was funny because nowadays people are like, remember the Cinderella one with fuck, what's her name?
Hilary Duff.
No. Fuck, she was an R&B singer. How did I not get her name? Brandy.
An R&B. Oh yeah.
Remember the Cinderella? It's like how they're like in this world, a white man and a black woman gave birth to an Asian guy who was marrying a black woman to be his dude. It was fucking hilarious. Like I'm like, yo, this is fucking great.
You cannot think about the logistics.
Yeah, no. This was like literally recently. I saw this fucking picture and I fucking died because I'm like, I never fucking thought about that because I remember I watched it as a kid too. But I was like, I never fucking thought about that. You had, I forgot the old man's name. Forgot the old man who played the king. But you had Whoopi as the queen, Brandy as Cinderella, and this Asian guy as well, I don't know, Prince fucking Charming. But oh my god, I remember that one. Because I want to say Nick and Cartoon Network didn't really have much TV network movies. They were
I
limited.
remember the only ones I remember were Drake and Josh, and that was because it was live action, and that was only after like it was on for 3 or 4 years.
Yep. So I guess
I do remember though. I think Nickelodeon did make a theater movie. Do you remember Clock Stoppers?
Clock Stoppers. No.
With the guy from Bring It On.
No.
He had to watch the control time. It was really good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where they move faster than time.
Yep.
They turn to once and they move real fast. Yeah, I remember. Oh my god, I remember that movie.
It was a good one.
I always wanted that watch as a kid. Not the actual watch, just the power, just the abilities of that damn watch.
Just the power, right?
It's like, man, if I had that watch, I will sleep longer.
I think I remember in science class, I was like, there's got to be a way. I was like reading the whole book.
One of these pages gonna have something about time. What the fuck? Oh my god, I remember that one. I seen that movie in the theaters. I'll never forget. What's another movie? I remember watching. Oh, remember It?
Yeah, of course.
For the TV, I remember watching that. I remember watching Tremors. A lot of Stephen King books were turned into TV network movies and not just theater. There was there was It. Tremors. What was another TV network movie I can remember?
You like the scary stuff though, huh?
I still listen and watch scary stuff today. Like I'm definitely gonna check out It Chapter 2 the following week when I come back from LA.
Nice, nice.
So I'm pretty excited for that. Um, what else it
What
is?
about favorite movie that was based off a TV show?
Favorite movie that was based off a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Cartoon Network has some, and that was usually because of Dragon Ball Z. But it's favorite movie that was based off of a TV show.
Oh, I already got mine. Oh, do you
Ooh,
remember? Do you remember? Do you remember the TV movie from the Fairly Odd Parents
yes, I remember that
where
movie.
he goes through the channels and then he goes to every TV show and he turns into like all those characters. Like he was in a Dragon Ball Z one. He
Yep.
was in like a Jimmy Neutron one. I forgot which other ones they used, but that was great. That was a great movie. And then when he gets older and he like doesn't need Wanda and Cosmo anymore, that was like so sad.
Oh yeah, he forgets about them, but his daughter has them instead.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I wonder. I was like, I wonder. I think I was like 16 when it came out. I was like, oh, I wonder if I had fairly godparents when I was 10.
No, what got me was how he was like he kind of like something was in his noggin on remembering them. Because remember
Right.
they, as soon as you don't need us no more, we wipe your memory and we never existed. And I never forget where I think he closed his daughter's room and he's walking away and I guess he heard something and he's like, "Why does that sound familiar?" And they kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I remember that part. That was kind of sad.
That was so sad, dude.
Oh, Timmy
It's
all
bumming
grown
me
up.
out just talking about it.
I know, right? Start crying. Oh man. But I want to say that's pretty much it on TV, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a lot.
yeah, like to be truthfully honest, I don't watch much TV nowadays. I rarely now catch anything, and mainly my main stuff is usually YouTube. I'm just subscribed to a whole bunch of channels. Some horror, news, um, sketches, things like that, and
That's
that's what I
okay.
mainly watch.
I think we grew up in a good time for TV.
We did. I want to say we grew up in the perfect time because now with streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus coming around the corner,
Yeah.
if we would have grew up in nowadays, we would never be having this conversation on, all these great shows that we watched as kids. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know really where it's going to go, but we do know it's definitely going to be different than it was.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. And we forgot to mention the big Disney shows as well.
Big Disney
DuckTales,
shows?
big Disney cartoons. DuckTales, motherfucking Tailspin. Um, remember Squawk Cats and fucking Ninja Turtles. Um, what was the other one?
DuckTales and Ninja Turtles were the only ones I watched.
Darkwing Duck.
No, don't know any of those.
Are you fucking? How about the Mighty Ducks that were actually ducks and they were
Yeah, yeah,
aliens?
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love the Mighty Ducks.
Another one. There was Darkwing Duck, the Mighty Ducks. The ones that were rats. What were they called? I think they were like Radical Rats or some shit like
Oh,
that. I forgot their name.
oh,
They're on
oh, no,
bikes.
no, no, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot. Oh my God, the rat.
Dude, it's like I totally forgot. Like some of those were on fucking Disney. Cause I clearly remember like watching Ducktales. I remember them. Oh my god, the Ducktales movie. That's my favorite
That's a
fucking. That
that's a
is
good,
my favorite movie
that's a
that was
good
based
show.
off a TV show. Cause that movie was so much fucking fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. You're taking me down nostalgia of Disney. Bro, I'm about to go find that fucking movie and watch it. Oh man.
Go find it right now. TV shows don't count.
No. But that movie, man. I remember that movie. I remember Chickmunks. Do you remember the Chickmunk movie where they were in the blimp?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, they went around the world. I remember watching that one. I was into that when I was a kid. Holy shit. Now I'm really going deep into the rabbit hole. Let me put myself out before we have another half hour in this episode. Oh man. But I want to say this is a good place to end. What you think? Did we just lose this man?
What? I'm here. What did you ask?
I said I'd say this is I think this is a good place for us to end. What do you think?
Oh, I said yes. I said
All I
perfect.
heard was just silence. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Please leave us any comments, emails, or anything about what was your favorite TV shows, as a kid, as a preteen, as a teenager, and as an adult. Leave us all that information and what you think about this episode as well. You can find all of our points of contacts down below: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Stitcher, Podbean.
DM us, send us any tips, tricks, or new episode ideas, guys. We always love to hear them.
Yep. And we are also on iTunes and Google Play. I forgot to mention those two. Thank you for tuning in, and catch y'all next time. Peace.
Next week. Peace.